Trick is going to be a simple card trick that I have been doing for many years. It always works if you follow my directions. It's always fun to watch people, and I'll show you a couple ways to tweak it at the end to bring some interesting concepts into it. But the name of the game is 21. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out 3 rows of cards in 7 cards per row. And please pay attention to how I lay these cards out. Now you just grab a regular old deck and lay the cards out. And I make 3 rows. Just like this. And I'm going to shoot down 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now when I talk to my participants, you'll notice I never lay the cards out going this way. I always go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There's a reason for that, because we have to keep the cards in order, even though the people that are playing with us don't understand what's happening. And the only way this works is to lay them out in that way. If you start laying them out this way, you'll lose. So what I do is I ask the person on this side of the cards to please choose any card. But before they choose a card, I turn around, and you actually want to turn around so that you're not looking at the cards, and tell them not to touch a card, just to point at it so anybody that's watching can see the card of their choice. So I would say, okay, I've got 3 rows of 7 cards each, and I want you just to point at any one card as I turn around. I'll turn around, and let's just assume that the person points to this Queen of Hearts right here. So then after they said they've chosen a card, I'll turn back around and I say, that's really good. And I'll say, okay, this is row 1, this is row 2, and this is row 3. I want you to tell me what row it's in. And they would say it's in row 1. Now here's the way the trick works. You always put the row that they've chosen in the center. Now what I mean by that is when I pick up these rows, theirs is always placed in the middle. So I would pick up this row first, then I would pick up their row, and then I would pick up that 3rd row. Now once again, I lay them out 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, not lengthwise. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now this time I say, okay, I always say this every time. I say this is row 1, row 2, row 3. What row is it in now? Well, here's the Queen of Hearts, so they would say row 3. So once again, I pick up the middle row, then their row, and then the last row. Every time their row is the 2nd row I pick up. This is the last time now. I'm going to lay out 3 columns of 7 cards each. This always works. I bet a lot of money on this, and I always win. It's a good sucker game, but as you get really good at it, most of the time now, I only show this as usually to kids and to young adults, just to get them interested in magic. But every once in a while you get one of those people who think they know everything. And this is the classic cards magic trick that I will present to them to make them not so high horse. And I usually take their money in the meantime. And I'll show you how I change this up for them. But right now, the middle column has their Queen of Hearts on it. Now, if you'll notice, If I count it down from the top, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's always the fourth card down. Always, always, always. Remember that. So what I do then is I'll pick up this row first. They would tell me this, so I'd always pick that up second. Remember, the row that has their card always gets picked up second. Now what I do at this point is I count out 11 cards, and the 11th card will be their card. So I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And there's their card, and everybody smiles, and they always, most of the time they'll always go, "How did you do that?" There's no magic involved in this. This is just a presentation that looks like magic, but it's actually all done through mathematics. Trust me when I say that. I can't explain the math on it, but it's a real effective trick, and it's easy to perform. Now I'm going to show you how I get the people with loud mouths and the people who always think that they know everything, how I get them on this trick. As simple as this is, I can win money off of this, and I'm going to show you again. I'll just put these back into place of where they were. Now remember, the 11th card down is their card. So when somebody yells off to the side, "I know how that trick's done," or "You're not very magical," or "Oh, that's stupid," or something like that, I always entice them to place their money where their mouth is. And I'll get a dollar bet going. Sometimes I bet $5, sometimes I bet up to $20. Now let me show you how I revise this to take their money and get them to shut up so I can show my audience more magic without having that heckler off to the side. So I'll count down 11 cards again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now you and I both know that that's their card. And the guy or the girl that's the loudmouth, they know that's their card. But instead of stopping on 11, I'll count down to 15, flipping it over. So that's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now what I do here is I place the rest of the cards down so they're face down. And I always leave their card poking out through all these cards so they can see it, because that strengthens the fact that they're willing to bet any amount of money. So what I say at this point is, I'll grab a card, one card, the top card, and I place it in my hand just like that. It's between these two fingers, but I keep it face down. And I rotate it around in a circle, and what I say to them is I go, "How much would you like to bet that the next card I flip over is your card?" Well, they are under the assumption that this is the card I'm going to flip over. They see their card laying right there, and they're willing to bet you $1 or $5 or $10 or more. So when I say, "Okay, how much would you like to bet that the next card I flip over is yours?" That's the key, the next card I flip over. So let's assume that they bet me $1. I put this one back on the deck, I reach in here and grab their card, and I flip it over. Now, usually what happens is I'll hear moans and groans from the person who just lost the bet, but everybody else that's watching this magic trick all laugh out loud, and they just love it because I just placed a sucker bet with that guy or girl and have won my money. So that's one of the ways I've revised this simple magic trick into making people who are hecklers shut up, because every time I perform magic, I don't know why, there's just something about magic. You'll always get somebody from the side always yelling that they know how tricks are done. There's no way you can perform a magic trick on them. You know, just, I've heard them all. So I hope you've enjoyed my 21 trick, and stay tuned. I will be presenting more tricks for your pleasure in the future. Thank you once again for visiting themagic8ball.com.